Hello everyone, welcome back to my Let's Replay channel. Once again, this is Andrew T coming at you, and we're going to be doing my vlog review of Sacred Gold and of Sid Meier's Pirates. Now, starting as always, go with the first one that I did, so we'll start with Sacred Gold. This game I didn't play when it first came out, so I don't really have a nostalgia about it, one way or the other. But I did play the original Diablo, which is very similar to this, except, it's more similar to Diablo 2, I guess you could say. But from everything they were trying to do, from the UI to the different things that you had going on, it was not very intuitive, and the tutorial was kind of crap. Like, I was supposed to get to the first town, I did, and everyone's moving around. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So, 8 character choices, which is good. I like the variety. You got a lot of replayability from that if you like the game the first time. So I picked a dwarf. He had a cannon. All right, he's a dwarf. I thought he'd do like a two-handed, or one-handed weapon, maybe a shield. But they use blunderbusses or whatever. They're technological, so I'll choose a dwarf. So start out and immediately have an axe. I'm like, all right. But then when I open the first chest, I have a cannon that goes straight into my inventory, but it has an attack vector of like 6, and I'm like, okay, but it says cannon, but I'm not shooting anything. Do I need ammo for it? Like, they don't explain anything about it. So I'm like, well, alright, so I found a better axe a little bit later on, and, better damage. Alright, let me go ahead and put this in. I'm hitting with my fists. I'm like, I have it equipped, it's in my slot, but until I put my first axe that I got in the game in there, I couldn't attack anything other than my fist until then. So, it's very unintuitive for this game, the way you play and everything. I bet if I stuck with it for like an hour and kind of looked up a wiki online, I could do that. But you're not supposed to do that with these games. You're supposed to go in there. It's supposed to explain well. You're supposed to just jump right in, and eventually it'll teach you the mechanics. If it has a good tutorial, then you're good. But this game, the graphics were okay. They're about on par with, I'd say, Diablo 2 or maybe Arcanum. They're pretty decent whenever you go, scroll in and out on the view. So it's not horrible, but just the pacing of the game, I thought was really slow. Like in Diablo, you can run places, but for the most part, you can double click and usually run somewhere on these top view games. And this one, I was just walking, and then I tried every button trying to do something to go faster. Couldn't do that. The attacking mechanics are pretty decent. Once you click on an enemy, you just can hold it down and just attack over and over and over again. I didn't really get into the magic or inventory system that much, just because it looked kind of complicated, and 2, it looked really jumbled up there in your inventory screen. So I'm gonna pull up inventory, go to the thing, the menu, pull it up, and then I had something called greed where I don't even know what that does. It had its brief description, but I couldn't honestly tell you. This is one of these games where, when it came out for the hard copy, it'd be good to have an instruction manual with it, because that way it could tell you everything, and then you can go in the tutorial and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know this, refresher, whatever. But this one definitely needed an instruction manual with it. So, the thing is, I got it for like $1.49 on GOG.com. So I'd say if I had to give it any sort of score, like I said, it's not a replay game because I didn't play it when it first came out, but I did play tons of games that are similar to it, so I feel like I'm justified in giving it a score for right now. So nostalgia isn't really there, so I can't really grade on that. But for the money I got it for, like $1.49, it's kind of hard to give it anything less than average on that. But I think that for the first time, I will. So this one I'll give a 4 out of 10. Because, 1, it is dated. And if it's going to be dated, it's got to be at least enjoyable. And I didn't play anymore after, I didn't have any desire to play anymore after the video was over. Some of these games I'll go back and play, hours and hours and hours and just go through it. But this game I had no desire to do that, just because the clunkiness of it and the limitations of it. Plus, when I got to the town, everyone's moving around. So if I want to talk to one person, I got to... And they go in and out of buildings too, so I don't know I'm supposed to talk to. I don't know if there's any quest givers. Well, that first quest giver had like a little exclamation mark and a question mark over his head, but I don't know if that's going to be for everyone, or if any other NPCs have information I could use. It's okay if you have NPCs in your game like walking around a certain area, like okay, you take this path back and forth or that path, but this seems so random. Everyone's in the same place, just kind of going around. I was really confused and just kind of put off by the whole thing because I tried, I really did, but the whole thing just turned me off. So there's that. That's one reason why I gave it a 4. It's not horrible for what it is. It's manageable, but a 5 pretty much says it's average, and you can pick it up if the money's right. This one, I don't like. If you played Diablo, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Arcanum, some of these other games that did it so much better from beginning to end, there's better ways to spend your money if you want to spend it on those games for a little bit more than spend even $1.49 if you just want to get it. Just like I'll have it in my library. I may check it out later. But I'm not going to play it now. That's a 4 out of 10 to me. It's like, okay, it's not something even for the price that I would normally pick up, but I'll probably put it in my library and maybe come back to it later. So, on that end, yeah, that's probably the best I can give it. It doesn't deserve to be any lower, but it doesn't deserve to be any higher either. So, moving on to Sid Meier's Pirates. This is definitely a nostalgia replay for me. I replayed I had the original though, the DOS version, and the way they incorporated the DOS version mechanics into this one are brilliant. That said, not everything about the DOS version was good. So you start off, they give you a bare bones story. You're supposed to find your family, find treasure, do your thing for whichever country you want. So there is, for the time it was pretty groundbreaking for the time, just because of the wind mechanics, the navigation, the combat at sea. The only difference is the cannonballs, you actually get to track them in this game, and that one, they just appeared once you, depending on how many cannons you had. If you had 8, they had like a pattern that would just show up on the screen at a certain place, however far away from either the port or starboard side you were firing at the ship from. So once you press attack, it just just show up like beep, and then if you hit, it'd have a little like yellow and orange to show that you hit the ship with however many cannonballs, and then you can just adjust from there. This one you track the cannonballs, and they give you grape shot and chain as well. So they do give you a little bit more variety in the combat here. The wind is still horrible though, where you're both going, you're attacking, and all of a sudden you just slow it to a crawl, and it's like, yeah, if there's no wind or the wind's going entirely opposite direction and you're both pretty much going against it, then you're both just going to be sitting there firing at each other, and hopefully you did enough damage beforehand where they're not, took out their cannons. But then the other problem is, the last 2 times I attacked anyone, I wanted to take their ship and take their goods, and I couldn't because I couldn't get over there fast enough before the ship sank. And I don't know when the ship is going to sink because it says, oh, you have 38 crew and it has 1 cannon left. Well, let me get, one more shot in, like, oh, you have 32 crew and 1 cannon left, and now the ship is sinking. I'm like, how do I know? I want to guarantee victory, but I don't want to, go in if they're still planning on fighting, so that it's really hard to get a balance on that. So it was kind of frustrating, but I bet you if I play about another hour or so, I kind of get the hang of it a little bit better. But it is very, very easy to get into. The sword fighting mechanic I saw in the tavern, it's okay. It's very different from the original, because the original, your guy literally had his sword either middle, high, or low, and he tried to just either block or attack the other guy while moving back and forth across the screen without getting hit, and with just hitting him. And you can have rapiers, cutlasses. I don't think a broadsword was on there, but yeah, it was rapier, cutlasses, and one other sword I can't remember right now. But this one, it just seems like whatever sword you have is, and you just attack whoever you're having a duel with, and that's it. All right, I guess that's okay. But yeah, for this game, the object, like you said, is to either retire as the highest job you can get, or maybe like be a governor, or like I said in the original, there were like 20 to 30, I think, from the lowest of okay, you basically retire penniless. You can retire at any time too, so you can retire right at the beginning in the original game. Like, no, I'm done, gonna retire. Sell my shit, my career, and then you become a pauper, and then maybe upgrade to a beggar if you do a little bit better. Then I may think a barber, a bartender, and a lot of other ones. But the highest I ever got was like I think a governor. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. But I didn't find any of my family. Thinking the first one I found like my sister and my mother, and that was it. And then I was like 60, and I was like, okay, time to retire. So yeah, for this game, it's definitely for the price I got it for. I think it was another sale on GOG.com at the time. For the price I got it for and for the nostalgia, I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. Just because for the price, if it's $5 or less, definitely pick it up. It's a very serviceable game. If you played the original, it definitely has a nostalgic feel to it from what you did before. And even when you get on land and your guys just kind of searching around, it just depends on if you get a good treasure map or you find exactly where to go, where to dig, stuff like that. But yeah, I really like the way that this game kind of stays true to its roots, but also lets you get a chance to have a semi-modern take on it, because it's not a AAA title by any stretch, but it's definitely serviceable. So if you played the original, or it just looks like a fun sailing game and pirate game, I would definitely recommend picking it up if the price is right. So anyway, that is it for this week. I just picked up Elite Dangerous, so I actually thought it was a VR game because it was under VR in my Steam library. I'm like, I didn't want a VR game. It's like, oh wait, there's a regular one too, so almost accidentally refunded it. But I'll probably play that a little bit and see if it's worthy of a Let's Replay next week. But other than that, I had a hard time coming up with games this week just because I like to play things I think they're going to be fun. So that's why I got Sacred Gold, because it was Diablo style, and it just turned out not to be. So it does kind of play havoc with the reviews, because you try to review everything impartially, and you don't want to just get good games that you know you're going to like. But every once in a while, we'll get one of these where it's like, like I won't ever get something that I know is bad just, to get a reaction or, knock the game. Because if it's that bad that you know beforehand, everyone else is going to know it too. So anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. Once again, this is Andrew T coming at you, and y'all have a good one.